There has never been a defensive answer for Nikola Jokic, but unfortunately, the one thing we've all feared has happened.
He has 2 games better than 50 points this year. Come away for the first half to end here in Miami. All of Mile High Denver right now holding their breath.
This is a very sad day for the league, and everybody knows it.
It's a sad day for me, because this is my favorite player to watch.
But what does this mean?
Joker is in there, we playing chess. When he's not in there, we playing checkers.
That quote is not an exaggeration. It is a summary of reality. Jokic is not just Denver's best player, he is the structure that holds everything together. This injury changes everything. How can the Nikola Jokic injury slowly ruin his legacy? How will the Nuggets fare without him for the 4 weeks he's out? Let's get into all of these questions. But let's start with the moment it all happened, because the play itself did not look dramatic at first. A normal defensive rotation and a teammate backpedaling. What made the moment hit harder was not the replay. It was Jokic's reaction.
As fans watching him all the time, we get to see him. He's not the kind of guy to show that emotion unless something really bad happens.
That's a sports medicine doctor. Just wait till you hear how familiar he is with Joker's injury. But first off, as he said, Nikola Jokic is not one to sell pain. So when he limped off and did not return, the tone changed instantly. This was not precaution. This was a concern. That feeling spread fast, even among players who have no stake in Denver's season.
It's a sad day for me, because this is my favorite player to watch.
This injury just interrupted the quiet stretch of dominance Jokic had been building. This is a player that just a few days ago dropped 56 points, 16 rebounds, and 15 assists. So this injury couldn't have come at a more terrible time. But what exactly does it mean for the league and everyone? If you don't think Nikola's injury can reshape how the entire league looks at the standings, the playoffs, and the race for relevance, here's an NBA legend putting it as it is.
You know, Joker being out, this changes the geometry, I think, of the whole league, right?
That's what happens, because suddenly teams that were bracing for Denver now see opportunity. Rotations tighten, schedules feel lighter. The West exhales. This was not fear of one player scoring 40, it was fear of what he forces everyone else to become. After the fear came the waiting. Afterwards, the conversation drifted toward every nightmare scenario fans know all too well. But then, the diagnosis arrived, and with it, relief.
You treated the guy that stepped on his foot.
The first thing I thought of when I heard this morning of the news that it was just a hyperextension injury was, thank God Spencer's not going to get blamed for anything that's really bad that happened to Nikola.
Fortunately, the injury isn't as bad as everyone imagined. Nothing torn, no surgery, and no season-ending headline. In that sense, Jokic avoided disaster. But avoiding disaster does not mean avoiding damage.
I think the best way to think about it is we all know the direction a knee is supposed to bend, and we all know the direction a knee is not supposed to go, the backwards way, right? Like a flamingo. And it's sort of the kind of, Spencer was backpedaling, covering Jaime Jaquez, stomped on his shin, ankle region, and really pushed that knee backwards. Nikola was also stepping forward to help cover and for some help defense there. And that kind of puts the knee in a position it's not supposed to be in. The thing that we can sort of fall back on now is that nothing was torn, there was no structural damage, and all the structures that are supposed to protect your knee did what they were supposed to do.
That explanation is the best case scenario. But even best case scenarios come with an asterisk.
Can a hyperextension lead to an ACL tear, a meniscus tear, or something like
Yeah, it kind of all depends on how far it goes, really.
That is the quiet tension hanging over this moment. Jokic escaped the worst outcome, but when knees bend the wrong way often enough, the margin for luck gets thinner. However, once the relief settled in, reality took over. Nikola Jokic was still gone. And without him, Denver is not just missing production, they are missing order. When Jokic is off the floor, things do not slow down. They speed up in the wrong way.
I think it's more freedom for them guys now, though.
Yeah, they be all right.
Because now we ain't got to worry. Now we got to shoot.
But that's the problem.
You got it. No, it's
freedom
not.
is a problem because these guys are going to be out of their body.
No, it's not.
They're going to be playing too much freedom. Think about Tim Hardaway Jr. with too much freedom.
That is the paradox. Freedom sounds good until structure disappears. Jokic is the structure. He tells everyone when to cut, when to pause, when to move the ball, and when to punish a mismatch. Without him, decision-making can become a problem, and that pressure does not disappear. It just shifts.
Now it's going to put the onus on Jamal Murray to do a little bit more, right, to keep them afloat, because they're in the Western Conference, which is pretty tough out there.
This is not criticism. It is reality. Jamal Murray has been great, but Jokic is the release valve that makes everything feel manageable. Without him, every possession feels heavier. NBA legend Vince Carter sees the challenge clearly.
Now it's kind of now, Jamal, how do you make the game easier for everyone else, but still play the game that you've been playing? Because he's been playing great basketball.
That is the tightrope Denver has to walk. Compete without forcing, lead without Jokic's gravity, and hope the cracks do not widen while waiting for their anchor to return. At this point, the conversation also shifts to identity. Who are the Nuggets when the constant is removed? Carmelo Anthony framed it perfectly.
Yeah, for me, this is not a can Denver survive. It's really about what does this moment kind of reveal for the other guys. What does it reveal about Denver's identity?
Every contender gets tested eventually, usually in the playoffs, sometimes earlier. This is Denver's test, but it's not a test of talent, but of preparedness. And this is exactly why front offices build benches and veterans get signed.
Now is an opportunity. This is why you signed the Tim Hardaways and others. You know, the other guys that's on that team. This is the reason you sign them, guys.
Because moments like this are unavoidable. Stars get hurt, systems get stressed, and the truth always shows itself. For Denver, this stretch is not just about staying afloat. It is about proving that Jokic's greatness elevates the franchise, not hides its flaws. But back to the best player in the league who's now injured. Jokic was in the middle of one of those seasons that historians circle later. Not flashy dominance, just relentless control. He was having the kind of year that adds weight to a legacy without announcing itself. And injuries like this do not erase greatness. They interrupt it. They remove games from the ledger. They remove momentum from seasons that were supposed to stack on top of each other. And all that matters for a player like Jokic, because his career has never been loud. He does not chase narratives. He does not campaign for trophies. He plays, he wins, and he moves on. Which means when time is taken from him, it rarely gets reclaimed. At this point, the evidence is overwhelming. Defenses cannot figure Nikola Jokic out. They never have. They cannot speed him up. They cannot exhaust him. They cannot force him into bad decisions. The only thing that ever slows him down is time and the body that carries his game. And that is what makes moments like this feel heavier than a simple timetable update. Nikola Jokic avoided the worst possible outcome. He will return, and when he does, he will still be great. That much is clear. But this injury matters because it reminds everyone of the only vulnerability he has ever had. Not scheme, not defense, not pressure, just injuries alone. Legacies are not always changed by collapses. Sometimes they are shaped by interruptions, by seasons that almost happened, by dominance that was briefly paused. But do you think this injury will not dent Nikola Jokic's performance or legacy in any way? Let us know in the comments. But before this injury happened, watch this video to see the version of Nikola Jokic that the NBA feared the most.